All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna look through some charts for the week, see if there's anything that we see setting up we might be able to take advantage of. As far as economical events or big news going on, keep in mind Clorox. I see it. But keep in mind we do have FOMC on the 21st. All right. So as always, if you're swinging something, be aware FOMC can cause your swing to either pop off or drop off. All right. Secondly, if you're day trading on that day, make sure that you're aware and alert. All right. So that's on the 21st. Make sure again, y'all put y'all calendars or market calendars for that. So we're gonna flip through, see if there's anything right now that's kind of standing out. There are still some earnings going on in the upcoming week. Down a little bit. All right. So a lot of stuff has been happening with those stocks that are kind of meme stocks, like Carvana, Blink, Neo, Plug, Lucid. Been trading those a lot lately. We see that Blink, crazy enough, I got out of Blink on a Tuesday, and then the next day it went up 32%. But caught a good move on Carvana. So keep watch on Carvana, Blink, Lucid, Neo. Those things pertain to EV. All right, Blink also had an inside day. All right, so we know that inside days mean that we're looking at lower time frame consolidation patterns. And we know that consolidation on lower time frames leads to expansion, where it ends up breaking out and then making those big pushes. And we know that something like Blink is one of those stocks that can make those big pushes. We see last week it finished with 20% move. The week before that, it had a 15% move up. A couple weeks back in November, or a couple months back in November, 27% week to the upside. All right, so big moves happen on Blink. Same with Lucid, same with Plug, same with Neo. All right, so Lucid is another one that's in the same general area. They do have earnings coming up on the 21st, Wednesday, and they're also playing with the potential breakout, right? So we see Lucid's been holding up with that support trend line, but then it's also been testing these resistance spots right here and just rejecting off of them. So look for Lucid to make a potential breakout here and then continue to push up and run. I'm gonna drop a little alert on that because we know that's one that will run. Neo, not looking as nice. And then ChargePoint is also kind of the same boat as those. And ChargePoint isn't looking as pretty either. So I would shift the focus for potential big moves on Lucid. We're gonna look at these. I'm gonna pop over to Tesla. Okay, cool. And Tesla's starting to move its way back up through the gap. All right. So somebody put Clorox in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up on Clorox. We're gonna start from the weekly, just so we can see what we might be able to expect. So we see right now we're double inside on the weekly, but this one broke down. So it looks like we're starting to head back down and retrace through this bigger candle. We are going to fib that candle because that can provide us potential support levels as it moves down. We drop to a lower time frame. All right, so we see that it broke and closed right below the 50% level on the fib. So we might see a little bit more move down, possibly down. Oh, wait, hold up. It might come down a little bit lower on that. It might come down a little bit lower on Clorox. Right now it's halfway through the gap. And we know that halfway through the gap does represent potential spots for it to have a little bounce of support. All right, but let Clorox keep breaking down until it shows signs of bullishness. All right, just like anything else when we're trading, when it shows us a certain move, we're going to trust that move until it shows us otherwise. I'm going to drop down to the hourly. You'll see that on the hourly, we've also been continuously making lower highs as well as lower lows. So keep letting that trend ride out. All right, we're breaking down through this triangle here, and we can, of course, target a gap fill below at about 148. We're going to look at SPY real quick. All right, so I was talking to somebody last week about SPY and why I was bearish on SPY in the coming weeks. Looking at it from the daily, it might not seem very bearish. Looking at it on a smaller time frame, looking at that, we had that chance to push back up after our pullback. We had the chance to push back up and make new highs, and we didn't. We rejected right below it. We failed to put those highs in. Yes, we came back down, form a triple bottom here, bouncing off of 499. All right, but once we get that close below 499 and that support is no longer held, we dropping. All right, so look for SPY. If it does close below that 499 on the 1 hour, look for that move to come back down and start pulling back through 497 and 495, um, and possibly come back and close this gap out around 494. It's about 494, 14. All right, so look for that on SPY potentially coming into next week. Again, for anybody who just joined, what up? But also, again, FOMC can completely shift the way the market moves, and we all know that. Now, if anybody has any charts y'all want to look at, definitely just throw them in the chat. We'll get to them, take a look at them, see if there's anything else going on that we might be able to take advantage of. For those who like seeing stuff that might have potential for reversals, there are different ways to trade. You could trade reversals, you could trade continuation and momentum and breakouts. Twilio had that positive earnings, right? We see they had an earnings beat, earnings revenue was beat as well, but they dropped. They dropped down. And we're not really seeing them at any level of support, really, till maybe here, if we could take that weekly low as support. All right, Walmart, bet. So I'm gonna look at Walmart. All right, so Twilio might be a potential one to hop on. Let it double tap that little weekly bottom there, and we can look at riding that back up. Walmart cat for sure. All right. So look at Twilio if you are somebody who trades or prefers to trade stocks that are is beating up, it's gonna bounce back up. Right. This is an opportunity on something that has had a drop, beat earnings, positive earnings. All right. And they can look at it starting to come back up. We're gonna pop over to Walmart and we're gonna look at CAT as well. Clear that up. So Walmart sitting at a 52-week high. But we also see that Walmart is struggling to really hold over that 52-week high. We got earnings on the 20th. So it's really, you're really gonna have to wait and see, right? The market's closed tomorrow. They have earnings on the 20th. Um, so we're going to have to see what happens. Now, it did break out of this resistance. And so one of the strategies we talked about all the time is break, close, retest. Right. So it broke over this resistance, came back, retested that spot. All right. So looking for Walmart if it does push back over, but earnings being on Tuesday morning, we're not going to be able to get a move on Walmart until after earnings already happens. If it drops down, then of course you have the opportunity to get a discount on something that you might want to invest in long term. Walmart being one of the largest supermarkets or chains in the country, if it drops down back to this support, that might be an ideal opportunity for you to jump in on something. All right, so keep that in mind as well. Even if you're not going to trade options on earnings because of the risk, you can utilize earnings opportunities to get cheaper prices on stuff that you're trading. Right. So be wary of that with Walmart and be aware. Cat. And Cat, we were looking at this triangle coming down. I think so. Let me clear this out real quick. And pop over to the weekly. See a lot of rejections there. Okay, cool. All right. So Cat had a little flag it broke out of on the weekly. Very small pullback. On the daily, the finished bearish, we got an inverted hammer daily, and also rejecting out of a nice supply area here where we see that we've continuously rejected and pushed down from. Right? But we also have to acknowledge that CAT has been making these pushes back up. And we see that we have the higher highs and the higher lows as we move through CAT. All right. So with CAT, what I would say is I will really watch it to come back down and possibly put in another lower high around 315 and look for bullish candlestick confirmation off of that, or double bottom at 310 or 311 and then bounce up off of that. Right now it's sitting at the supply zone that's rejected. For an immediate trade though, I would look at taking CAT on a 5 or 15-minute close below the low of Friday. All right, so that would be below 321.44. So we're closing below 321.44. I'll write that down. CAT 321.44. All right, closing below there. We have again a inverted hammer coming out of a supply zone. Only thing that could have made this even more, juicy is it being in a downtrend. It's not. That's okay. All right. So looking at that for a drop back down, and of course, be careful when fighting the trend, because as we see, when you're moving with the trend, those moves are going to be bigger. Right. When you have those little counter trend moves, they happen. Right. You can catch puts on stuff that's going in the uptrend. It's just that your put opportunities are going to be so much shorter than your call opportunities. Where we have calls and they push up so much higher. All right. So that's why the big opportunity would be mainly looking for the bounces. But next day, you want to take an immediate trade come Tuesday. Now, I would like that below that low to start dropping back down before it makes that new spot to bounce off of. All right. So we're gonna see what else is going on out there. A lot of stuff has been going on with these Chinese stocks that have been gapping around. So we're gonna look at JD and Alibaba and put on the weekly. All right, so JD finally broke out of a weekly spot. We see that over the past weeks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, JD could not hold above 24. Now it's closed over 24. All right, so of course, Chinese news can always come in, throw stuff off. But JD holding over 24 is something that you can look at as bullish and potential for it to start bouncing back up. If you are looking at long-term position opportunities, look at JD. We pop out to the monthly, right? It doesn't take somebody with a crazy degree to see. We had a huge monthly support since JD IPO'd. We have a huge monthly support right here that we're basically at right now. So if you're looking for potential leaps, if you're looking at something that might give you a great risk to reward or a big return opportunity, JD leaps are going to provide you the opportunity. If we're with where we're at right now, there's a lot of value in being able to pick that up so close to this support that is bounced off of, every time it's come down to about the $20 mark in the past. Right. So if you're looking for leaps, you're looking for some longer term swings, something you want to hold for a minute, look at JD and put that down as well. All right. And we can't look at JD without looking at Alibaba. And so Alibaba is close. Close. We see Alibaba has a similar kind of story to it where there's this big monthly support. This one is at about the 58.50 mark. All right. And so it's not quite right there, but we can't expect that if JD is going to be positive, we might see Alibaba be positive as well. Alibaba, it looks like it's fighting to finally start making some higher highs here after making this previous run of lower highs, lower lows. All right, so we're looking at that. But again, JD is something to keep a watch on. Let's keep looking. And again, if you have any charts y'all want to look at, drop them in the chat. Dave and Busters. Yeah. All right, so we have a short week as well, so keep that in mind too. With any contracts that you're taking. All right, just remember that when the market opens on Tuesday, it's not Monday. All right, it was easy to buy those weekly contracts and kind of forget that uh, it's just the first day of the market, but it's not the first day of the week. And so your timeline is shorter. That means theta is going to start hitting a lot harder. We have CMI with the big weekly breakout. So that's something to look for continuation. I'm going to drop to the daily real quick. All right, and we also see that daily broken close over its last level of resistance that it had over there. So we have potential for CMI to start pushing back up from 266 up towards that 275 area. KHC, that is Kraft Heinz, Tesla for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. We're going to look at KHC. We're going to look at Tesla. Look at DLW as well for potential breakout here. All right, a lot of breakout opportunities we're starting to see with stuff that's consolidating. I mean, you'll see that a lot when you start looking at stuff and looking at the news that's going on. I caught SPY puts with Ray and Concetta. We caught SPY puts when they dropped over here on Tuesday. You swung them on Friday, and it just lined up with, I think it might have been PPI that it lined up with. So just look at opportunities technically, but also be aware of market events that can cause, or be a catalyst for those bigger moves. Kraft Heinz, we got double inside day, so we're gonna watch for that. Of course, you want to look at the bigger play of taking the breakout of this range. You can trade inside of that range as well. All right, and of course, your play would be to take that back down inside its current range. But that's not a lot of room. So when you're trading, make sure that you're still looking at not just the candle size. It's easy to be looking at the chart and kind of see the candles and think it's, big, or a lot of room. There's 1.5% might be something. Uh, but make sure you're taking the best opportunity you see as well. Right? You don't want to take trades that are only, you know, 5 out of 10 type setups, 3 out of 10 type setups. You want to take trades that are looking like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 setups. All right. Something that helped me with that. And I gotta say, I appreciate Carmel for doing this with me. Uh, she had challenged me before to see who could get the most 100% trades in a week. All right. And so thinking through that frame of mind, it forced me to say, okay, I see all these charts, I see all these setups, right? But what is the setup that gives me the best opportunity or the most potential for not only success, but also a biggest return with the success? All right. So put yourself in that frame of mind as you look through stocks tomorrow, tonight, and next week. Is what is going to give you the best opportunity for success, and what's going to be something that's an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 setup. The setup that you say, hey, let me tell my friend about this. All right, I don't want to miss this one. All right, so think about that. I just want to throw that in there. So, all right, KFC, or sorry, not KFC, KHC does have double inside day. All right, it looks like you would take it for the drop below 340, or sorry, 34.75. You would take that drop down. You're absolutely right, Ray. Yes. The people that I'm currently mentoring and coaching, that's what we're working towards. I'm challenging them to get a 50% return average weekly, and that's been going well. Uh, Started off with some, I'm taking 20%, I'm taking 10%. We ain't doing that. No, that works when you're throwing a lot of money on your trade. But the reality is, if you're not throwing $10,000 on a trade, right? Taking profits at 10% or looking for opportunities that will yield you 10% isn't going to be as beneficial or fruitful towards what you're trying to accomplish. Right, so you want to look towards opportunities that give you better position to get what you're looking for. All right, so appreciate you for throwing that in, Ray. Uh, and I'm proud of you for the growth that you've had since we've been working together one-on-one. Record days, record weeks, continuously back to back. It's been great. All right, so we said Walmart and Nike, Tesla. All right, so let's go pop on the Tesla. All right, Tesla weekly look like it's one to try to start curling back up. And Tesla daily, you got it looking to go ahead and push the gap. So you can definitely take Tesla. Let's drop it even lower. Let's find a smaller find some smaller levels we could try to take up. Because I want to say just go ahead and start looking to take Tesla up to fill the rest of that gap. Right. So look for Tesla. Look at Tesla to possibly go ahead and fill that gap up to 20. I mean, that earnings gap it had, that's at 207.76. So look for that possibility for Tesla to go ahead and push up towards 207.76. All right. With that, you can use the smaller time frame to start looking for our potential entries. You can let it come back down to that 197, catch towards the bottom of this current triangle that it's in after it's had this bullish push up. And look for it to break over that trend line and start pushing back up towards 206.70 and then to close that gap. All right. So Tesla does look good to keep going up. After we've seen that push back up, that triangle forming right there. And we come over to the daily and we see that we actually just pulled back and we're still finishing out that move from that breakout we just had. All right, so Tesla does look good. EA, was that EA? What was that? It just looked like it was about to drop. Yeah, 52-week high, monthly supply, 52-week high, monthly supply. I'll look at EA for potential continuation of this pullback too. Thank you. For sure. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for putting that chart request out. So look for EA as well to continue pulling back down. Um, that's another one that we can watch. Let's see what else is going on out there. And I'm still going to start. I'm gonna go through my screeners and scanners and such tomorrow since we don't have the market open tomorrow. I'll do that. I'm just going through the watch list right now. I know FedEx, the past couple of years, FedEx has dropped around this time. Look at VZ, bear flag there. So we're coming on February 18th. So I'm gonna look at FedEx. I think FedEx had like some seasonality where around this time of year it's dropped. So here's February 17th. All right, and we can see from 17th over here to about the 15th of March or so. We see that we did have a nice decline. Man, that's a 7% drop. So from about mid-February to mid-March, we saw about 6% move down. I'm just checking this because I think I remember seeing this. Let's go to February. This is February 2022. So February 2022, we had mid-February here. We got mid-March over here. And so another drop. All right, if it opened up here, dropped down at the lowest, is about 14% down. But about mid-March, March 14th closed down 8%. So $20 drops. Let's go look at 2021 real quick. I ain't gonna just go through all of these. February, here's mid-February. So that's February 16th. March is over here. So this one was like it popped up a little bit. Had a big pullback and then popped back up. So it dropped about 18 bucks, but then popped back up. Okay. Be on the lookout for FedEx. As we saw that around that mid-February to mid-March time, the past couple of years, there's been about a 6% drop or so. Uh, and it just had this bear flag. It came back into it, but it did have a bear flag that it started forming on the 4-hour daily as well, and it started popping back up. But we're also already in a downtrend with FedEx anyway. All right, so we just ended up making a lower low here. So it might pop up, make us another lower high. And after that, look for it to keep dropping. That's what I'm going to set some alerts on, see what we can get on that. But make sure that you're aware and alert for that. And the same thing with Baidu, BIDU. I'm going to go look at Verizon. All right, same thing with that as well, where over the past couple of years, if I'm not mistaken, I think Baidu had some nice like mid-February drops as well. Bet. What up, Breezy? Coca-Cola. I'll pull it up. We got Verizon, Coca-Cola. Let me look at this real quick. So that was a nice little February drop. Where we at? All right, so like mid-February, February 15th. That's 13%, $20 drop over 9 days. $20 drop. All right. This February over here. Yeah. Watch for Baidu as well. Just seasonal stuff. Pay attention to patterns. All right. Mid-February, carrying over to mid-March. All right. Big drop there, popped back up and made another big drop. So again, all right, one of the things that if y'all been following me for a while, paying attention for a while, y'all know I like a lot of seasonality. Just stuff that's just rooted in market cycles, certain companies that provide certain things to the marketplace. People buy in cycles, money flows in cycles, and a lot of stocks in the market moves in cycles. Right. So being aware of those cycles can present good opportunities as well. So we're gonna look at Verizon. We're gonna look at Coca-Cola, and then we're gonna probably go ahead and just bounce up out of here, man. I'm putting any other things I see in the chat over the weekend or over our day off tomorrow. Yep, this is a bear flag on Verizon. All right, thank you for sharing that. So we can look for Verizon. All right, inside your flag, all right, we can still identify horizontal support and resistance levels. Of course, your trend lines are going to be a little more subjective to how you draw them. But we can't really argue with the fact that this area has been being supported, right? So look at Verizon. If it does come back through there, right, it might continue to bounce up. We see it last time it did hold that support and bounce back up. All right, but Verizon is forming a bear flag daily. And then Coca-Cola. Cola really. What made you ask about Coca-Cola? Who was that? Breezy, what had you bring up Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola lives dividend. Coca-Cola really has been kind of moving sideways the past month or so. Yeah, it's just in the range. Besides these 2 days right here, it's basically just been moving between 58, about 58.80 and 60.50. So of course, you can just trade inside that range. All right, while it's towards the bottom, you buy calls, ride it up to the top. It doesn't like there's a might not be that much money to be made in that move up and down. But that's your opportunity on Coca-Cola. We're gonna look at Pepsi too. All right, so Pepsi might be if you rock on Coca-Cola, Pepsi. I don't like how many times it's come down to support. That might not break. That might not continue to go up. Yeah, Pepsi like it's gonna drop through that. Pepsi like it's gonna drop through that. All right, so you can look at Pepsi as well. Additionally, look at Pepsi once it pushes back through 165. Look at Pepsi for potential continuation to the downside. All right, cool. So I'm gonna put together an actual watch list with triggers as well. I just wanted to make sure y'all saw charts. We went ahead, handle any chart requests people might have had. Uh, Considering that tomorrow we have a holiday, I'm gonna throw a chart request post up on Instagram. If y'all had other charts y'all wanted to look at together, I'll put your comments on there. I'll make a reel going over the chart where I see stuff going for that particular equity. And other than that, as always, if y'all got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. We're gonna go ahead and get some more stuff put out in the Discord as far as what's happening moving forward. Appreciate y'all for hopping on. Breezy Carmel, Sharita Martin, Beard, D. Bow, Dre, Donna, iPhone, John Stokes, Kendrick Perkins, Kim, Luther, Montana, Ray C, Saul, Tanisha, Russell, Teddy, and Tracy. Some other was on, some others left. Appreciate y'all for hopping on. I will see y'all around. Some more stuff coming out. If y'all have any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out to me. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. So, thank you, Kendrick. What's up, boy? What up? What up? Appreciate you coming through. Always more work to do. All right, y'all.